Thank you everyone for being here today for our Dynamics 365 webinar. Hopefully we'll cover some new features that you may not have heard of that can help you maximize your sales efficiency. Now again, if any of these features are new, that's great. That's exactly what you're here to learn today. Now a little introduction to me. My name is Grayson Luce here at Topline. I'm our technical sales associate. So I work with both our tech and sales teams on any demonstrations, trainings, including working on customer projects across Dynamics, Zoho, and HubSpot. And I'm also involved in our in-house product, Symphony Sync, in the development, customer support, and content creation. Now, as for what we'll be covering today, so we're going to jump into a couple of our different views that we can see on our sales entities and opportunities, and that'll be our opportunity pipeline view, as well as our focus mode. We'll also take a look at some of the Copilot enabled features, such as using AI-generated meeting prep notes, and also how you can summarize your activity timeline and get a couple highlights. We'll also be taking a look at our smart org chart that we can find on either our accounts or contacts, as well as some features of Sales Accelerator / Sales Insight, including assignment rules and sequences. Finally, we'll just be going a bit over SMS Engagement, which is sort of integrated texting in Dynamics. For now though, let's jump into some of the features of Dynamics. So right away, again, the first things I want to show you today are our different views. Now starting off, I'm on our opportunity view here. And to access our different views, we have our action ribbon in the top here. And on the left-hand side, we'll see the show as. Here, we can choose whether we'd like to use that pipeline view. Again, this is for opportunities, or our focused view, which is available on any of our sales entities. And that's our accounts, contacts, leads, and opportunities. But to start, we'll take a look at our pipeline view. Now, the first thing you'll notice with this pipeline view right away is this nice graphical view that tracks our deals. Now, with this graphical view, we do have this sort of chronological timeline here of the estimated close dates of our deals, but we also have this y-axis that's going off predictive opportunity scoring. Now, predictive opportunity scoring is not something we'll be directly covering today, but if this is something that intrigues you and you'd like to learn more about, please reach out to our team. Now, right away, there's some things you'll notice about what's displayed here on the deal tracker. We have different colors that's related to the grades that automatic opportunity scoring has given us, as well as a size that correlates to the estimated revenue of the deal. Now, with this, we also have the ability to view the sales funnel, which will give us a graphical overview of what stage all of our opportunities are in. Now, with our deal tracker and our sales funnel, we do have these metrics available to view in the top here. And what these are aggregates of any of the fields we have on our record. Now we can see and edit our different metrics by clicking this combo button and then edit metrics. And again, by creating a new metric, we can see that from our opportunity, we can choose any field on the record, as well as any of these aggregate functions, along with using filters if we'd like to narrow down what data we're looking at further. We'll also see a list view here at the bottom that shows us any of our opportunities in our specific view. And if you'll notice, some of these list view records have this sort of darker blue highlighting. And by clicking on this highlighting, we'll actually be able to open a record in this side panel here so we can get a quick view in the record and the fields on the record. We can also get to the same view by clicking on any one of our dots in our deal tracker pipeline view. Now, if you'd like to get taken directly to a record, you can do so by clicking this Go to Main form, and you'll be taken directly to that record. The next thing we can see is we can take a look at our focused view. Now for this, we'll be looking at opportunities. And the first thing you'll notice is that we get our list view over here on the left-hand side. So again, these are all the opportunities we have on our list view. But over here on the right-hand side, we'll also get a quick view into the contents of any of the records we've selected over here on the left-hand side. Now with this list view, again, like any normal list view, we get the ability to use any of our different views that we have already created. We can also make use of any filters, sorting, as well as multi-select to work with any of the items in our list view. We do also get access to the full action ribbon that we would normally see on our list view that would be able to help us create a record, delete a record, or even import or export directly to and from Excel. Now, one thing you'll notice with this list view is that we do get a little preview into some fields on our opportunity, including potentially any upcoming activities. Now we can change what fields we'd like to see in this preview by clicking this More Options and then going to Settings. And here we can customize exactly what fields we'd like to see on that quick view card. Over here, we can also set what we'd like to be the default view on any of our records. So if you like this focus view, here's where you can set it to be the default. So anytime you open up, say, your leads or opportunities entity, you'll automatically be defaulted to this focus view. We can also turn on automatic refreshing to update this work list here automatically for us. So Emma, thank you for your question. And she asked, can you add focus views to custom tables? And as of right now, focus view is only available for our out-of-the-box sales entities. And again, that's our accounts, contacts, leads, and opportunities. The next thing we're going to touch on is some of our Copilot enabled features. And the first thing we're going to take a look at are our AI generated meeting prep notes. So this is a feature of Copilot that also integrates with your Outlook. And what it does is it takes a look at the meetings that you have hosted in Outlook and that are connected to Dynamics. And what you're able to do is click this Stay Ahead and Prepare for Sales Appointments. And then what it does is it brings up all your sales meetings that are happening either today or that are in the next 7 days. And by hovering over any of these, we can click Prepare. What this will do is it'll bring up a little summary about that opportunity or the meeting. And we can see here that we have our subject of that appointment or meeting, the date and time it's happening, and what opportunity it's connected to. We can also see who's been invited to the meeting, and by hovering, we can see the email, whether or not they responded, and then some opportunity insights. We can also see any of our upcoming tasks or activities as well. We can also open this meeting link directly into Outlook or copy this information that we can paste elsewhere. Now, another one of the Copilot features we want to highlight is this highlights button in your activity timeline. Now, it might be minimized by default, but you can click here to open up this dropdown. And what Copilot will do for you is it will highlight the last 10 activities in your timeline in up to 3 bullet points for you. Now, this is great whether you've been taking a break from any opportunity and you need a refresher for yourself, or you're joining someone else's opportunity as a new member of the team and they want to get you caught up quickly. You can use this opportunity timeline highlight in order to get a quick overview of the work that's been done recently. And again, you can access that Copilot ribbon over here on the right-hand side and by clicking and opening the Copilot window. The next thing I want to cover is how we can make use of our Smart Org Chart. Now, your Smart Org Chart can be found on either an account or a contact record. So here we have our account, Sky Castle Realty, and we can use our org chart by clicking this Open Org Chart button in our Actions ribbon. What this will do is it'll pop up this new canvas view for us. And one thing we can see right away is that we have all the contacts that we have that belong to this account, as well as a sort of hierarchical view over here on the right-hand side. Now with this, we can click and drag our contacts from the left-hand side over into our hierarchy. And you can have multiple levels of this hierarchy, as well as multiple branches. So for instance, if Sophia Wright is under Chris Johnson, who's our CEO, we can create that hierarchical relationship. Again, we can also have multiple people under one hierarchy, as well as people further under that. Now with this hierarchy, we also have the ability to add tags, and these help to know whether this person is a decision maker, an influencer, a blocker, or they're just unknown. We also have the ability on any of these records to use these three dots in the top right-hand corner to access our options. And what we can do is we can either open that contact record directly. We can also set them as an assistant in this hierarchical view, or we can even set them as the primary contact. Here is also where we'd be able to remove them from the chart if we don't think they were placed correctly, or for any other reason. Now with this chart, we'll also see this notes here on the bottom. And what this allows us to do is open up this side panel where we can see some basic information about the contact, but also add seller notes if we'd like to record information. And I see Emma asked a question about, do we need to drag contacts to the correct manager, or will it automatically put them under the right manager when they're added to the chart? So when you add these contacts to the record, they will just be put over here in the section that's contacts in the account. Now, because Dynamics does not know this company's hierarchy, as well as this hierarchy being able to change at any time, you will have to keep updated with the new hierarchy as things change. But you can always just click and drag to any other location on the chart, and then save your changes once you're finished. The next thing I want to touch on is some of our sales insights and sales accelerator features. Now these can be found under the left-hand side here in our sales hub. And by choosing this, we can change our area to the sales insight settings. And that's where you'll be able to find sales insights, assuming you have the proper permissions and it's set up. When we get there, we'll see a view similar to this, where we'll be able to see all the features that Sales Insights has to offer. But today, we're going to be focused on Sales Accelerator, specifically sequences and work assignment. Now, work assignment allows you to group any of your records into segments and then prioritize them. And with these rules, you can also add automatic assignment to any new records that enter your system. Now, each of these work assignment are specific to a record type. So whether it be opportunities, leads, accounts, or contacts, each work assignment rule is separate based on the record type. So for instance here, I've created this segment that is going to show us what we want to do with leads in Wisconsin. Right away with our segments, we can create our segment definitions. And this is just basically any filters we'd like to have to specify what our segment should be. For instance, my segment is leads in Wisconsin, so I've set the filter on the state and province to saying it contains Wisconsin, or WI. Now with these segments, we can also add assignment rules. And what assignment rules do is they set these conditions to automatically assign these records to a relevant seller, team, or queue. Now for this example, we're looking at leads that met our segment definition, so leads that were in Wisconsin, and we can also consider leads that were created previously. Now this is only in hours, so it does not go back more than a few days. Now with these segments, we can also assign these leads to the seller team or queue. Now for our example, at our company, we have Alan Steiner and Dan Jump, who are responsible for all the leads in Wisconsin. So what this allows to do is when a new lead comes into our system, Dynamics will automatically choose either Alan or Dan Jump to be assigned that lead. Now, as for how Dynamics chooses which user to assign these leads to, it's done by this distribution. Now you can either choose round robin, where the next available user is assigned the next lead, and that works in a cycle, or you can allow Dynamics to do load balancing. And what that means is Dynamics is checking against the list of how many leads these people are assigned. And if one user is a little bit lighter than another, Dynamics will assign more leads to that user to help balance the load between the two. Now, if you're working across multiple time zones, you can also use this option here to basically only assign these leads if a seller is available when the leads are being assigned. And you can set this range depending on your needs. You're also able to tick this checkbox here to assign leads based on seller capacity. And what this is saying basically is setting a max amount of leads, in this case, that can be assigned to a specific seller at a specific moment. Once we have our assignment rules, we can also attach a sequence that I'll be covering shortly. Here, we're also able to see all the leads that met this segment and were automatically assigned to one of our owners. Now, as for these sequences, what sequences are a time sequence of events that help give you activities for your sales team to ensure that they're following the correct steps and that their activities are aligning with your business process. Again, just like the work assignment, these sequences are specific to a certain record type, whether it be a lead, contact, account, or opportunity. Now, Dynamics does have some out-of-the-box sequences that you're able to create as templates, but we'll just be looking at one of the sequences we've created already, and that's this prospecting sequence. Now, what these sequences are a branching step of activities that can change based on certain conditions. So for instance, this prospecting sequence, when these leads come in, they're automatically sent an introductory email, and then after 1 day, a phone call is scheduled on that lead's record. Now, based on the conditions of that phone call, whether it was made or not, we can move this into one of our branching paths. So if they answer that phone call, we can set up a meeting to move on to the next stage. If not, we'll wait a couple days and then send an automatic follow-up email. And again, with these sequences, we'll just take a look and edit. We can add steps anywhere along the way, whether that be sending an email, a text message, making a phone call, or setting a task, as well as just setting wait time. Again, we can also check against conditions for any of our steps. So if it's an email, we can check if it was opened, any link was clicked, whether the recipient replied, or they downloaded an attachment, or any combination of those. We can also check if a field is set to a certain value or your business process is set to a certain stage. Here, we can also set at certain points whether we'd like to advance to another sequence or update any of the fields on our record. So now, with these sequences, we can also connect them to leads. And again, this can be done either from work assignment, where we can connect one of our segments directly to a sequence. And here we can see the leads in Wisconsin is set to automatically enroll those leads into that prospecting sequence. but we can also set that connection manually. So if we'd like to view any of the leads that have been connected to the sequence, we can click Connected Leads, and we can see our connected segment, as well as any of our connected leads. But if you'll notice, some of our leads did not come from a segment. That's because we are able to manually assign leads to any segment. Now you can do it from here by connecting leads in the backend and choosing which records you'd like to connect. But you can also do it from any lead record, which is what we'll show in a moment. Now to show the lead record and connect them to the sequence, here we have Leah Reyes. And to connect her to a sequence, what we're going to do is click the Sequences button in the top action bar. Here, we're able to either connect her to a sequence, disconnect her if she's already connected, as well as view the connected sequences if she's connected to any. Here, we're going to connect her to the sequence, and we'll be able to choose any of our sequences for leads that are currently active. So for this example, we want to enroll her in the prospecting sequence. We'll also be able to see a little preview of our sequence over here on the right-hand side. But once we're ready, we can click Connect. Now Dynamics, by default, will assign the activities of the sequence to whoever the record owner is, but you can also change this to manually set it to yourself. Now let's take a quick look at what one of these sequences might look like on a record. So here we have Arnold Warren, who's already been assigned to a sequence. And what we'll see here is in this Up Next section that's above our timeline, we'll be able to see the contents of the sequence. So here, that first step is the introductory email. And what we can do is we can send that email. We can also mark this activity as complete, or maybe we can skip this step, snooze it for a while, assign it to someone else, or just add a note about what's going on with this current step. We'll also see this blue hyperlink text up here. And what this will do is it'll pop open this little side window that gives us this graphical view and the sort of branching steps that go along with our current sequence. And we can also view a little information about the sequence, such as its description, how many steps it has, and who created it. I see Melanie asked, is the email automated or manual? And with sequences, you can actually do either. So you could create an automated step in your sequence that as soon as they hit whatever branch, the email is sent automatically. And depending on that, you can move on to another stage. However, you can also send what's called manual emails. So those manual emails do not get sent automatically. They just appear as an email activity that your sellers can then send as they reach that step and they feel comfortable they're ready to send that email, including being able to edit the contents of the email if they'd like to make a couple changes. Now I know we're getting very close to time, so I do just want to show you our last feature, which is SMS Engagement. So SMS Engagement is the ability to integrate text directly into Dynamics. And on that similar pop-up menu we saw on the right-hand side, we can open up this texting menu. We can also do it by clicking where any phone number is. There will be a little text button instead of a phone button. And what this allows us to do is both send and receive text messages. And we can also create texting templates that we can then choose to personalize our messages. Now these templates can be retrieved by clicking the little library button in the bottom left-hand corner of our chat window. Here we can also choose, if we have multiple options available, what number we'd like to send or receive a phone message from. And again, we're also able to view the history of the conversation, even if we weren't a part of it originally. Now, these Dynamics features is not what Topline just has to offer. We also have our own product Symphony Sync, which can help you integrate Dynamics with HubSpot Marketing Hub or with Constant Contact to help keep your data aligned across platforms and help enhance your communication and improve workflow efficiency. And again, thank you so much for attending this webinar today. I hope you learned some new features that you can look to take advantage of in the future.